and a pleasant day to wherever you're listening or watching. I'm Ernesto Garcia, and welcome to our second episode of Get Going with GEPAR. Inside look at what's going on around the industry, getting to talk to a lot of the professionals that are around here and in our association. My name is Ernesto Garcia. I'm the Communications and Marketing Director for the Greater El Paso Association of Realtors, and I want you to make sure that you can email me at any time with suggestions, questions, or if you think we need to interview somebody, let me know at egarcia@gepar.org. We're getting a chance to speak with a gentleman who's been in this industry for over 38 years, going on to 4 decades, and that is an accomplishment. That's a huge accomplishment. I only made it to 27 in broadcasting. Okay, so I can understand once you get to a certain point how much you've seen in God, and that would be Michael Bray. A lot of folks know you here at the association. You've been around. You even remember when it was first formed here, wasn't it, or when it got going back in the day?
Yeah, that's sure.
Yeah.
When
like,
Adam and Eve was in the Garden of Eden, right? There you go.
No. But Mike, talk about a time when you were first getting initiated, becoming a realtor, getting started, to see technology where it is now. We've seen a lot of changes, haven't we?
It's been absolutely mind-boggling. I was having a conversation in the hallway a few minutes ago. Back when I first got started, we didn't have map books. We just had to know our way around town. So we spent a lot of time just driving neighborhoods. We didn't have lock boxes. So if I wanted to show a house, I had to drive to somebody's office, pick up the keys, show the property, and take the keys back. Mm-hmm. We didn't have MLS books. We didn't have the computer. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have any of that. And so communication was a challenge, and just understanding what the inventory was out there was very, very different there. And so, yeah, I've seen an awful lot of the changes over the last few years. I spent a lot of time with the Tech Association of Realtors with their technology task force. And so I was fortunate to have kind of a front row seat with a lot of the things that were going on to help, into the industry. And it's amazing where we are today.
Yes, it is. And one of the new technologies that's out there that I'm sure you were surprised when it first came out was drones. And of course, they're here to stay. A useful tool in today's new technology. My question to you is, what are the rules in place right now for a realtor to start using them to help their business?
Well, I think we need to define the kind of use that we're looking at. The FAA, which is the federal agency that has purview over drones, breaks it down into 2 types of uses. One is called recreational use. It's kind of it's a very narrow class, and the other one is commercial use. And so let's just say right off the bat that any use with real estate, excuse me, will be considered commercial use. And so there's a whole bunch of rules, and there's licensing and registrations of the individual drones that come into play.
Well, the FFA has certainly taken note of the drones and is leveling fines to those using them without a license. How bad is it for a realtor to knowingly use an unlicensed pilot to fly drones to help them sell a home or commercial property and thinking, well, my kid could do this?
Well, there's a lot of aspects to it. First of all, there's a lot of different fines for different types of infractions. One is if you hire somebody and they're not properly licensed, your fine starts at $1,100, I believe it is. If you're the one that's flying the drone and you don't have a license, they start at $10,000. Now, the interesting thing is, if you use the drone yourself to fly over one of your listings and you're not properly licensed, the fine will start at around $12,500. There was that's a lot of money.
That is a very long
individual here in Louisiana just a couple of months ago that he found out the hard way. It was posted there. Somebody came knocking at the door and said, "Hey, show me your registration, show me your license." They couldn't produce the proper documentation, and so they made an example of that individual.
Don't want to be that example. And of course, the National Association of Realtors have stressed over and over in recent years to only use professional licensed drone pilots. It's not hard for someone to complain or anonymously about someone using drones. What problems could arise if you are caught using them without a licensed pilot?
Well, first of all, I think the first use would be to incur a fine. And depending on the infraction, again, that could be a $12,000 fine. If you're caught while you're out in the field, taking the video. First of all, your drones they're all the newer drones transmit their location, transmit their ID, and it's very, very simple for the FAA, and basically anybody with a smartphone can track where you are, but they can very quickly check to see if you have a license or not. And if you don't have a license, somebody shows up, and not only do you get fined, but they could confiscate your drone, and that can be expensive.
Very expensive. Now, some people might be watching this podcast for the first time going like, oh, I didn't know all this. I just did this, got it done. If you have photos or videos that are on the web or on the MLS that were taken without a licensed pilot, should you go probably take them down and put the right photos in?
If you got $12,000 that you don't mind giving away to the government, then no, leave it up. It's only illegal if you get caught, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, you don't want to be the person that's caught. I think from not only are there the fines there, but the rules and regulations of the multiple listing service. And I think that's something we are starting to address. NAR is certainly addressing that. Texas Realtors is taking a look at that. Those rules will be ever evolving, where you need to be able to show that you have the proper licensing for the pilot there. Otherwise, you could run into some kind of issues. The other thing, when you have the videos up there, you've got copyright issues, not only of the video, but a lot of those have an audio background. And so to have just the proper licensing there's a lot of people that look for it. And basically on the computer, they have bots that go out there. They find that audio, and that's an automatic thing. The computers will find you, and then you're going to have an interesting time.
It's also the same with photos, isn't it?
It's the same thing with photos,
yes.
and the same thing with the videos there. So it's not so easy to get around it. And frankly, I don't know why anybody would really want to try to scam the system there. There's just an awful lot that needs to go into. And, taking the video is just one thing here, but getting that video into a proper format to present your story is very, very interesting. So there's additional software that you need, a lot of training to be able to do some nice things here. And I think we've got an example here.
Yes, and which I was going to ask you, these are some of the places a realtor can go to get a licensed drone pilot to help them fly out. And we're seeing something from Flying Pixels Imagery. Am I correct on this?
Yeah, this is one of the local companies here. I really love the way this individual, not only does he have a very nice drone, the pictures are crisp. He knows what to take, how to take the shots. But take a look at some of the interesting things that he can do, where he adds using something like Adobe Premiere to start putting the graphics on there. And notice how that's followed as the drone passes around there. So that's able to very easily give you a very compelling story, and that's worth paying for. That's what's going to sell properties.
Safe to say, it's going to be around for a while, so you might want to put an investment, because this is what this would be, an investment to get this drone working for you in your business, right? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, the drones, you can pick up there's drones for less than $100, and they're going to crash right away. They're not going to even be worth it. So, I mean, a typical drone, a decent drone, maybe $600, $700, $800 to kind of get you started, but you got batteries, you got other things. I think if you really want to do a nice video, you're probably looking at $1,500 to $2,000 for just the equipment alone. Then you have to invest in all of the software. So you want something to not only be able to cut and edit, you want something to put the audio backgrounds, put up your graphics, you got to post it someplace. All of that also is going to cost a lot of money. Not only that, but there's just a tremendous learning curve on that. If you want to do that, I think that's fine, but then we lose focus. My real job is to list and sell properties here, not be the creative guy. We used to say about doing flyers, anybody can do flyers now, but now it's something a little bit more intense. And so just remember that there are some rules there. You need to understand the rules, follow the rules, and it's just best to hire somebody professional that knows what they're doing, like this guy here.
Got one more question for you. How was your experience using a drone?
It was great.
You turned a couple shades of red, right? So fast that we have video proof of this.
So I hired a professional, like I'm supposed to do. And while he's out there with his big fancy drones, and he had like 2 or 3 in his truck and his equipment, I took out my little $100 drone or something. Oh, look what I've got here. Let me show you how I can fly. I went up there and I immediately crashed the thing. The guy rolled his eyes and he went and did the professional thing. I mean,
He's like, I got to get back to work here. I don't know what you're doing. You go play over there.
Go away, kid. Don't bother me. Yeah, so they're not easy, especially, the cheaper ones, they don't fly themselves. The more expensive ones, they have a lot of great controls and stuff in there. But I think it's a fun thing to do. Do I want to do it professionally? No, I much rather pay somebody. But it's nice to know what the capabilities are so that you know what you're getting. And we still need the realtors to be the one to decide what's the story that you're trying to tell, what portion can be best told through the use of drones, what could be best used through still photography or graphics or anything else, audio, that sort of thing. So there's a whole lot of things that we as the professional real estate licensee can bring to the table.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you more. We're going to be bringing you up more. We have a lot of programs and topics, issues and programs. So Michael Bray certainly got a lot of experience, has been here with GEPAR for so many years, and we'll be using that knowledge to help you out and helping out future realtors who may not even known about drones. And that would be a little bit of an understatement. We know that they need to learn more, don't they? All right. If people want to reach you, Michael, get a hold of you, have a discussion, how can they do so?
You can find me on Facebook. My contact information there is in the MLS.
All right. And of course, if you want to know more about GEPAR or be on our next Get Going with GEPAR or have an idea who should be on our next guest, please email me anytime at egarcia@getpar.org. Have yourselves a great one.